Hi everyone, my name is Kenneth Kariuki. I'm a psychologist, a counseling psychologist. I specialize in marriage and family and relationship counseling. I work as a consultant with Hisia Psychology Consultants. I'm happy to be here with you to talk more about the relationship, a topic that I am very passionate about and have been working on. Actually also trying to be gathering on the new trends, researching more on the new trends. That makes me very versatile and very updated with issues relationship. Relationship therapy is quite important because as we get into relationship, all of us dream of having happy relationships, good relationships, but we know that that does not always happen. Sometimes one of the things that would make someone come to a relationship therapist is because of uncertainty of relationships. You don't know whether the relationship will work. You don't know whether this person you have is the right person. You don't know whether whatever you're seeing in this relationship will continue growing or it will cease. So that uncertainty of relationship makes people come for relationship therapy. The other one is the inadequacy of skills. You would like maybe to express yourself more, but you don't know how. You would like to take your relationship to the next level, but then you feel that you are stuck on some point, and therefore you would like to come so that we share with you more about having more skills in your relationship. The other thing that makes people to come into the therapy is when relationship is not working as they would like it to be. The relationship is supposed to give you more happiness. It's supposed to make you feel more loved and have a sense of belonging, but then that is not happening. And you would like then to work on your relationship to make it much better and to give you the satisfaction that you would like to have within your relationship. Yes, relationship therapy, before starting working on the other person, will start with you, because all our relationships start with us. So self-awareness is one important aspect of relationship therapy, and it will help you become more aware of how you function in the relationship, your role in that relationship, and even how to work on yourself in that relationship. Mostly when people hide information from one another, it's because they're insecure. There is a feeling of insecurity. This insecurity might arise from a number of experiences. One of them could be past experiences, maybe with past relationships. It could be that they did not have, they trusted before and then that trust was not held up to. They could also be childhood experiences whereby they passed through some experiences which would hinder them from exposing themselves more and more. There could also be experiences of abuse. So some people have passed through abuse and therefore they would not like to be abused again. Another experience that would make people to be fearful of exposing themselves or disclosing themselves would be that there is insensitivity. That if I said something, then the other person would not understand me, would not respond adequately to me, and therefore they would hide some information because they feel the other partner is insensitive to them. When it comes to consistency, one needs first of all to be self-aware. Be aware of yourself, be aware of your patterns, be aware of the patterns that make the relationship difficult, and therefore try to avoid that as much as possible. The other thing about consistency in a relationship is make yourself trustworthy and also learn to trust in the other person. That would ensure that in whatever you're doing, you have a lot of consistency. The other thing about if you want to remain consistency in your relationship is to build an atmosphere of being free to share. Like being free to share when you have negative experiences. Be free to share when the relationship is not going well and talk about it. Kind of keep on resolving the conflicts that arise in the relationship instead of withholding that. The other thing that you need to avoid in order to become consistent is passive aggressiveness. This is where you react to a person, but you don't want to show how you are reacting to them, or you don't want to show your real feelings. You keep hiding them, but you are reacting to the other person, or sending a message, but you're not sending it in a direct way. That would create a lot of inconsistency in a relationship. So I would say resolve your conflicts in good time, make sure you're very honest to each other, and be aware of yourself. Yes, it is true that most people mirror themselves in a relationship, that most of the time what you see as a weakness in another person is actually could be a weakness in you. What you don't like about yourself, you're most likely going to see it in the other partner. So even as what this means is that as you talk about the other person's weaknesses, also it's good to reflect on yourself. As your relationship is not going as you like it to go, then it is also good to look at your contribution to that. Most of the time when you look at your contribution, you might find that you do exactly the same thing that the other partner is doing. So yeah, it is true that most people mirror themselves in the relationship. Now, being phony just means that you're not being real, that you're being apparent. So one of the things that you identify is what could be conflicts in your relationship. What are the causes of those conflicts? Where do you see inconsistencies in your relationship? Where do you feel like you're being used in your relationship? Where do you feel like the other partner could be dishonest in the relationship? And where do you also become dishonest? And why do you try to create impressions to the other person? So whenever an impression is being created that is not real in that relationship, then there is some phoniness in that relationship. And the idea is, what is it that you're trying to hide? What is it that you are not comfortable with the other person knowing about you? Or even you're not comfortable with yourself being in that relationship. And if there is such a thing that makes you uncomfortable about just being real, about being yourself, about being vulnerable in that relationship that you would like to hide, then there is an aspect of phoniness which needs to be addressed. Now, after identifying phoniness in a relationship, the first thing that you do is ask yourself, what would happen? What is the worst that would happen if I was to be real? And take the risk. Because relationship is about taking risks. If you find yourself not being able to move to the other level that you would like to move, but you're still in this relationship, then there's need to address that phoniness and actually ask yourself, what is it that you fear about going to the other level? I think also building a lot of trust in the relationship is important, and just letting go of your guards, not to be so guarded in this relationship. That would help you a lot in creating phoniness. One take home would be, start with yourself. Start being real. Don't wait for the other person to be real. The more you become real, the more the other person becomes real. The more you disclose more about yourself, the more you're taking this relationship to another level, and the more you're inviting the other person also to disclose more about themselves. Actually, being that our relationships are based on emotions, and that our emotions are not consistent, you don't expect also relationships to be consistent. There are times when you have the high moments in a relationship, and these are moments that you want to be close to someone, you want them to be near you, a relationship is going on well, and there are some moments that you have low moments in your relationship. Maybe you're in a conflict, something is just happening in your relationship that is making you not to be very close. There are times when maybe you just kind of take each other for granted in the relationship. So the good thing is to know that this is very normal in the relationship. The other thing is to know that relationship and love is like fire. The more you add fuel to it, the more it burns. So if you find yourself going low, then ask yourself, how do I add fuel into this relationship so that we remain having that burning in the relationship?